Please accept my humble obeisances, and please let me offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual masters, without whom I would have no hope of ever having a successful life. Namo Siddheswarupananda Paramhamsa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya De Satarine Vanchakalpatribhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All glorious to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years. It extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and gives us a pure taste of that eternal nectar for which we're always anxious. My Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction upon the living being. And because of this, you have hundreds and millions of names, like Krishna, Rama, Govinda, Jehovah, El Shaddai, Allah, Damodar. And in each of these transcendental names, you have invested all of your transcendental potencies. And there aren't even any hard and fast rules for chanting these holy names. Oh my Lord, you have so kindly made approach to you easy by your holy name. But I am so fallen, I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, feeling himself to be lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects unto others. In such a state of mind, one may chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Oh, Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I want the company of beautiful women, nor any number of followers of mine. All that I want is that I might have your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna. I am your eternal servant. But even though I'm eternally your servitor, somehow I've fallen into this dark ocean of material birth and death. Please, therefore, please lift me up. Please lift me up from this ocean of death and place me as but an atom of dust upon your lotus feet. My dear Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly while I chant your holy name? When will all the hair on my body stand on end, and my voice choke up husky with love for you from the mere recitation of your holy name? Oh, Govinda, Govinda. Feeling your separation, I'm considering a single moment to be like 12 years or more. And tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. Everything in this world is empty, useless, in the absence of you. I don't know anyone except you, dear Krishna, as my Lord, and you shall always remain so. Even if you handle me roughly, or you may break my heart by not being present before me. You may feed me, or you may make me starve. You may save me, or you may slay me outright. The choice is yours, because you, and only you, can do anything and everything. But you are always my worshipful Lord, eternally and forever, unconditionally. Haribol. Haribol, Haribol. These prayers of Lord Chaitanya are so powerful. They are the essence of all of his teachings, the essence of all Vedic literature, all rolled up into 8 verses. If you can manage to recite them at least once a day, that is wonderful. That will enhance your life, your spiritual life, immensely. Today, we are looking at the many, many, many prophecies of the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This reference of so many places wherein the Lord is prophesied to appear. These predictions were all put together by Stephen Knapp. I don't remember his spiritual name. but the appearances of Lord Chaitanya, predictions of those appearances can be found in many Vedic texts. One of the oldest prophecies concerning Lord Chaitanya's appearance in this world is found in the Atharva Veda, one of the original 3 Vedas. Starting as Itoham Krita Sanyaso Vatarishyami. In this verse, the Supreme Lord states, I will descend as a sannyasi, a tall, fair, and saintly Brahmin, a devotee. After 4,000 to 5,000 years of Kali Yuga have passed, I will appear on the earth near the Ganges, and with all the signs of an exalted person, free from material desires. I will always chant the holy names of the Lord, and thus taste the sweetness of my own devotional service. Only other advanced devotees will understand me. How much more clear could that be? It's like you're given a snapshot. Also in a verse from Samaveda, also one of the 3 original Rig, Sama, and Atharva Vedas, the 3 original Vedas, starting as Tataham Krita Sanyasho Bu Girbana Avatarishye. The Supreme Being says that he will descend to the earth as a Brahmana sannyasi at a place on the shore of the Ganges. Again and again, he will chant the names of the Lord in the company of his associates to rescue the people who are devoured by sins in the age of Kali. I forgot to ask, is my audio level okay? Can everybody hear all right? Okay, thank you. Haribo. In the Mukunda Upanishad, there is also the prophecy of Lord Chaitanya in a different way. There, it states, when one realizes the golden form of Lord Gauranga, who is the ultimate actor and the source of the Supreme Brahman, that person attains the highest knowledge. He transcends both pious and impious activities and becomes free from worldly bondage and enters the divine abode of the Lord. Another prophecy of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya is found in the Bhavishya Purana, where it states, the Supreme Lord said, in Kali Yuga, I will appear as the son of Sachi, and I will inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. Of this, there is no doubt. It also says, O sage, whose wealth is austerity. In the Kali Yuga, everyone will see my form as a sannyas, a form filled with tears of bliss and bodily hairs standing erect in ecstasy. And from the Svetasvatara Upanishad, it says, he is the most benevolent supreme divinity, Mahaprabhu, or Great Master. As through Sankirtan he graciously instigates, or bestows, intuitive wisdom upon the jiva soul, unto his fully developed cognition, or purest attainment. This attainment of the purest state, or immortality, is possible only by his grace, as he is the supreme propeller, and imperishable, transcendental, enlightening force. And from the Vayu Purana, in the age of Kali, I shall descend as the son of Sachi Devi to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. And also from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish like that of Lord Krishna, nevertheless, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, his servants, his weapons, and confidential companions. In the classic Mahabharata, we can find that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Lord Krishna. There, it says, the Supreme Lord has a golden complexion when he appears as Lord Chaitanya. Indeed, his entire body, which is very nicely constituted, is like that of molten gold. Sandalwood pulp is smeared all over his body, and he will take the fourth order of life, sannyas. And he will be very self-controlled. He will be distinguished from the Mayavadi sannyasis in that he will be fixed in devotional service and will propagate the Sankirtan movement. This invites, there's so much in the Vedas and in Vedic literature that really for the devotee is useless. Just so much stuff. Stuff and more stuff. But finding the diamonds amongst the dust in the sand is just amazing. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, it also explains how the Supreme Lord himself describes how he will appear as his own devotee to perform and teach devotional service by inaugurating the Sankirtan movement, which is the religion for this age. How he is the great master, or that he will bestow spiritual intelligence, is described in another Upanishad. This is one of the lesser-known Upanishads called the Chaitanya Upanishad, or Sri Chaitanya Upanishad. This comes from the ancient Atharva Veda. In this description, there is not only the prediction of his appearance, but a description of his life and his purpose, and the reasons why his process of spiritual enlightenment is so powerful and effective in this age of Kali. The Chaitanya Upanishad is a very short text of only 19 verses, but all 19 are very significant. The Sri Chaitanya Upanishad texts 5 through 11 explains that one day when Pipalad asked his father, Lord Brahma, how the sinful living entities would be delivered in the Kali Yuga, and who should be the object of their worship, and what mantra should they chant to be delivered, Brahma told him to listen carefully, and he then described what will take place in the age of Kali. Brahma said that the Supreme Lord Govinda, Krishna, will appear again in Kali Yuga as his own devotee, in a two-armed form, with a golden complexion, in the area of Navadvip, along the Ganges. He will spread the system of bhakti, devotional service, and the chanting of the names of Krishna, especially in the form of the Hare Krishna mantra, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Another interesting story about the prediction of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya in Kali Yuga is related in a lengthy conversation between Murari Gupta and Damodar Pandit, two contemporaries of Lord Chaitanya. There it is found in the Sri Chaitanya Mangala, a biography of Sri Chaitanya by Sri Lochan Das Thakur. Among the many things they discuss are the symptoms and the difficulties found in this age of Kali, and how Lord Krishna appears on the earth in this age, his confidential reasons for doing this, and how he revealed to Narada Muni his form as Lord Gauranga, that he would accept while appearing on earth in this age. In this form, he would distribute love of God to everyone he met by chanting the holy names. This conversation between these two saintly persons is very enlightening. Within this conversation, they further relate an incident recorded in the Vishnu Katyayani Samveda of the Padma Purana. This is a conversation between Lord Vishnu and Katyayani, Parvati, Lord Shiva's wife. The story is that one time the great sage Narada Muni acquired the Mahaprasad, or personal food remnants, of Lord Narayan, Vishnu, and he gave a morsel to his friend, Lord Shiva. Shiva tasted it and began to cry and dance in ecstasy, to the point of disturbing the entire planet. When he was approached by Parvati about why he was dancing like this, he explained what had happened, that Narada had given him this prasad. However, she was very unhappy and angry that he had taken all of it and did not share any with her. Being devoted to Lord Vishnu and concerned for the spiritual well-being of all conditioned souls, she then vowed that if she should get the blessings of Lord Vishnu, she would see to it that the Lord's Mahaprasad was distributed to everyone. Just then, Lord Vishnu himself appeared and conversed with her. He assured her that he would appear in the world as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the age of Kali, and would keep her promise and spread his mercy in the form of Mahaprasad, food that has been offered to him, and that the chanting of the holy names to everyone, distributing his mercy everywhere. Another book is the Sri Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan lived about 500 years ago in Vrindavan in India. He was a great scholar of Vedic scriptures. A portion of the book contains an anthology of an amazing assortment of verses from Vedic texts which predict the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Besides some of the quotes we have already mentioned, he includes verses from such texts as the Chandogya Upanishad, the Krishna Upanishad, Narada Purana, Kurma Purana, Garuda Purana, Devi Purana, Nrsimha Purana, Padma Purana, Brahma Purana, Agni Purana, Saura Purana, Matsya Purana, Vayu Purana, Markandeya Purana, Varaha Purana, Vamana Purana, Vishnu Purana, Skanda Purana, the Uparanas, Narayana Samhita, the Narayana Samhita, the Krishna Yamala, Brahma Yamala, Vishnu Yamala, Yoga Vasista, and the Tantras, such as Urdhva Tantra, Kapila Tantra, Visvasara Tantra, Kulanava Tantra, and many, many others. These and other predictions confirm that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would appear specifically to propagate the chanting of the holy names. Furthermore, in the 4th chapter of Antya Lila of the Chaitanya Bhagavat, which is a biography of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, written by Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is said to have been an incarnation of Srila Vyasadeva, Lord Chaitanya explains, I have appeared upon the earth to propagate the congregational chanting of the holy names of God. In this way, I will deliver the sinful material world. Those demons who never before accepted my authority and lordship will weep in joy by chanting my names. I will vigorously distribute devotional service, bhakti, which is sought after even by the great demigods and sages and perfected beings, so that even the most abominable of sinners will receive it. But those who are intoxicated with education or wealth or their family background, I am Brahman, I am not Shudra, and knowledge, so-called knowledge, will criticize and offend my devotees and will be deprived of everything, and they will never know my true identity. When Sri Chaitanya specifically states in Antya Lila, I declare my name will be preached in every town and village upon this earth. This verifies the fact that the chanting of the Maha Mantra is the rare and special opportunity given by God for all to be relieved from the problems of the age of Kali and of the material life in general. This is confirmed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is Sri Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya, who inaugurates the congregational chanting of the holy names, which is the most sublime of all spiritual sacrifices. Intelligent people will worship him through this means of chanting his names, while other foolish people will continue in the cycle of repeated birth and death in the material world. In another place in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, Sri Chaitanya specifically tells Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy that chanting the holy names is the most practical way to attain salvation from material existence in this age. And anyone who is intelligent and takes up this process of worshiping Krishna will attain the direct shelter of Krishna. He is also strongly opposed to the impersonalist philosophy of Shankaracharya and established the principle of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. This specifies that the Supreme and the individual are inconceivably, simultaneously one, and yet they are different. This means that the Supreme and the Jiva souls are of the same quality, being eternal and eternally spiritual, but they are always separate individually. The Jivas are small and subject to being influenced by the material energy, while the Supreme is infinite and always, always above and beyond the material manifestation. He is never, ever, for even a moment, covered by the material manifestation. Sri Chaitanya taught that the direct meaning of the Vedic Shastras is that the living entities are to engage in devotional service or bhakti to the Supreme Bhagavan, Sri Krishna. Through this practice, there can develop a level of communication between God and the individual, by which God will lovingly reveal himself to those who become qualified. In this understanding, the theistic philosophy of Vaishnavism actually reaches its climax. As previously explained, there is a system of self-realization that is especially recommended for each age. In this age of Kali, people are not attracted so much to spiritual pursuits, and are often rebellious against anything that seems to restrict or stifle their freedom to do anything they want. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to be 6 feet away from anybody else. How dare you insult me by telling me I have to wear a mask? And so forth. I mean, it's so obvious. Since in this age we are so easily distracted by so many things, and our mind is always in a whirlwind, we need an easy path. Therefore, the Vedic Shastras explain that God has given us an easy way to return to Him in this age. It is almost as if He has said, "Since you are my worst son, I will give you the easiest process." The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila confirms this and says that the Supreme Being descends as Lord Chaitanya with a golden complexion simply to spread the glories of the chanting of the holy names, which is the only religious principle in this age of Kali. In this way, God Himself has given the method of chanting His holy names as the most effective way to reach His spiritual abode. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not become much involved in writing. Actually, he wrote down a Vedanta Sutra. He wrote his own opinion of certain Vedic texts, all on palm leaves. At one point, a huge endeavor of all kinds of these palm leaves. And then he met with his teacher. He was very young, still had a teacher. And the teacher was very excited and said, let's go out in this boat, and while we're on the river, I will read you my study of Vedanta Sutras. And so he sat there and listened to this foolish teacher read on and on and on the palm leaves that he had written. And Lord Chaitanya realized that if he read his own interpretation of Vedanta, the teacher would be completely defeated. And so he took all of that writing that took him months to accumulate and do, and dropped it into the river, unseen by the teacher, never to be seen again. That was pretty much his writing. But he did write 8 verses. His followers, however, compiled extensive Sanskrit literature that documented his life and fully explained his teachings. For more complete descriptions and elaborations of his life and his philosophy, as written by his close associates, these books can be ordered through various outlets. The Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Leela, Chapter 3. This is from the Chaitanya Bhagavat. I'm sorry. It's not that you can order the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Leela, Chapter 3. This is from the Chaitanya Bhagavat by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. It's a prayer poem that I'd like to share with you. Even before he took his birth, the Lord propagated the chanting of his holy name. Streams of people went for their bath in the Ganga at the time of the eclipse, and all the way they chanted the Lord's name, Hari 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 Bol. Some who from their birth never once uttered the Lord's name, now in this time chanted that name on their way to the Ganges. The sound of the chanting emanated from every direction, and the Supreme Lord, the best of the Brahmins, smiled to himself as he made his appearance, as he took birth. Sri Jagannath Mishra and Srimati Sachi Devi glanced at their child's beautiful face, and they were overcome with unbounded joy. The ladies stood around the child, not knowing what to do. Fussily, they ululated in jubilation. Relatives and friends hurried to see this amazing newborn child. Sri Jagannath Mishra's house was a scene of great exultation. Srimati Sachi Devi's father, Sri Nilambara Chakravarti, found esoteric and wonderful signs in every house in the child's astrological chart. Sri Chakravarti was astonished by the baby's beauty and saw all the divine symbols upon this baby's person. A much accepted prophecy in Bengal was that someday a king would be born in Bengal as a Brahmin son. So, Sri Chakravarti thought that only the future would prove whether this was that child. In the presence of all, Sri Nilambar Chakravarti, an expert astrologer, began explaining the ramifications of different astrological signs in Lord Chaitanya's chart. He further delved into the child's exalted chart, and the more he did so, the more difficulty he found in describing the Lord's position. This child will conquer Brihaspati, the sign of learning and education, and he will be a scholar. He will be a natural repository of all divine qualities. Present in that gathering was a great sage there in the guise of a Brahmin who made predictions on the Lord's future. This Brahmin said, "This child is the Supreme Lord, Narayan himself. He will establish the essence of all religion. He will initiate a wonderful preaching movement, and he will deliver the whole world. He will give everyone that which is forever desirable, even by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, or even Sukadev Goswami. Upon seeing him, people will feel compassion for all living entities and become callous towards the material pains and joys. This will be the great benediction for the entire world. Not to mention for ordinary men, even hardcore atheists and fools will worship the child's lotus feet. He will be glorified throughout the entire creation, and people from all orders of life will come and worship him. He is the personification of pure Bhagavat religion, the eternal religion. He is the benefactor of Brahmins, of cows and devotees, and the affectionate, devoted son of his parents. This child has come to accomplish great works, just as the Supreme Lord Narayan incarnated to re-establish religious principles. Who can explain the import of this child's exalted astrological and esoteric symptoms? How fortunate you are, Sir Jagannath Mishra, a leader among men. I offer my obeisances unto you again and again, the illustrious father of this child. I feel greatly fortunate that I could calculate this astrological chart. His name accordingly will be Sri Vishwambara. He will be known to all as Navadvip Chandra, the moon of Navadvip. He is the spiritual, he is spiritual bliss. He is Ananda personified. The Brahmin did not speak any further about Lord Chaitanya's pastimes of accepting the renounced order of sannyas, since this would disturb the loving emotions of his parents. Sri Jagannath Mishra was enthralled with ecstasy over these descriptions of his son. He immediately wanted to offer gifts to all the Brahmins. However, he was a poor man with few possessions. Yet feeling such great jubilation, Sri Mishra fell at the feet of the Brahmins and cried. The Brahmin caught Sri Mishra's feet, and everyone present shouted, "Hari! Hari!" in great joy. The relatives and friends were all praising the child, and they blessed him as they heard the supernatural predictions about his future. And soon the musicians arrived, playing their respective instruments, the mridangas, the flutes, and shanhai, and they filled the air with wonderful music. Ladies from the higher planets mingled freely and yet unnoticed with the ladies from earth in this wonderful gathering. The mother of the demigods, Aditi, smiled and placed her right hand holding auspicious grasses on the paddy of the Lord's head. Holding auspicious grasses and paddy, or, like paddy, like mud, on the child's head to bless him, saying, "Have a long life. Please remain eternally in this material world and manifest your pastimes," she said. This explained the expression, long life. Srimati Sachi Devi and all the others noticed the extraordinary beauty of these ladies, but they hesitated to inquire as to their identity. The demigods respectfully took the dust from Sachi Devi's feet, and in doing so, she lost her speech. She couldn't speak in extreme exultation. The demigods took the dust from Sachi Devi's feet, leaving her speechless. Neither the Vedas nor Lord Anantasesha could describe the waves of jubilation that drowned Jagannath Mishra's house. The entire town of Nadia seemed to be present at Sachi Devi's house to experience that indescribable joy. Wherever the people were, in their homes or in the bank of the Ganges or in the streets, they all loudly chanted the Lord's name. Everyone jubilantly celebrated the Lord's birth, unknowingly thinking the festivity was actually for the lunar eclipse. Lord Chaitanya appeared on the full moon night of the month of Palung. This day is the most worshipable by Lord Brahma and other great personalities. This day of the Lord's appearance is the holiest of all holy occasions. This day is devotion personified. Wow. Lord Chaitanya appeared on the full moon night of Falgun, and Lord Nityananda appeared on the 13th night of the waxing moon. Both of these days are all auspicious and transcendental occasions. If one properly follows these two holy occasions, they develop love of Godhead and cut asunder the knots of material illusion. The appearance days of pure Vaishnava devotees, like the appearance day of the Supreme Lord, they are also all auspicious and transcendental. Whoever hears the narrations of Lord Chaitanya's birth is freed from the miseries of all material life and death. Anyone who hears Chaitanya's pastimes immediately gains love for God and immediately becomes the Lord's eternal servant. He comes with the Lord each time the Lord advents in this material world. The Adi Kanda text is wonderful to hear because it contains the descriptions of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. The Vedic literature describes these pastimes of the Lord as eternal, although he sometimes appears and sometimes he disappears. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes have no beginning and they have no end. I write them down only by the mercy of the Lord, and I offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of the Lord and to the feet of all the devotees. I pray that I may be excused from all my many, many, many offenses and forgiven. And with that, Vrindavan Das offers this song that we have just shared onto the lotus feet of my life and soul, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Oh, I have heard descriptions of Lord Chaitanya's birth, but nothing like that. I'm so privileged to be able to share that with you. Thank you so very much. Again and again I offer my obeisances. I offer my obeisances again at the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Namo Siddheswarupananda Paramahangsa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prasthayat. Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya De Satarine Panchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. To have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya to be able to read that just blows my mind. Thank you so much. Katrino, how come don't have your camera on? Nicholas, I can't see you. Ambet, there you are. Yes, I see you. Salvador, where are you? Oh, there you are, Katrino. In silhouette, but I know you're there. Haribol, Salvador, there you are. Namaste. Daryl, Are you walking around? Where are you? Oh, there you are. You are walking around. Okay. Haribo. Hare Krishna.
Chanting Japasta, Haribol.
As
and
well,
listening to your amazing. You
as
listen
well.
to your amazing. Sorry,
It's
Haribol.
not mine. That's all glories have to go to Vrindavan Das Thakur on that one. But
Haribol.
anyway, are there any
some of the
questions? Thank you, Daryl. Namaste.
Namaste, Haribol.
Are there any questions from anyone? Or anything you'd like to share? If not, if there are, speak quickly, because we're going to turn everything back over to our Master of Ceremonies, the great and glorious Narayan Dasi Garcia. Namaste. Haribo.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa iti namine.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa iti namine.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa iti namine.
Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa namine. Pura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Namo Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Namo Bhakti Vedanta Swami namine. Pura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Namo Bhakti Vedanta Swami namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Prabhu Nityananda,
Hare Krishna,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindam.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrindam.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrindam.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta
Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrindam.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahaya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahaya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahaya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Mahayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Mahayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Mahayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Mahayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Mahayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Mahayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Mahayana
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Mahayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Mahayana
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Srila Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Srila Prabhupada
Jaya Siddheshvar Nanda Paramahamsa Prabhupada Jaya Siddheshvar Nanda Paramahamsa Prabhupada
Jaya Siddheshvarupananda Paramahamsa Prabhupada Jaya Siddheshvarupananda Paramahamsa Prabhupada Haribol. Dziękuję.
Haribol.